Hello, Trojans, and welcome to today's virtual lesson. I know we have had a lot of issues today with Schoology as well as Teams. So if you weren't able to make it to a normal class today, live class, synchronous class, whatever you'd like to call it, no worries at all. This video will have everything you need and more. It covers everything that we did today or will do today if you're watching this before your normal class time. But welcome to our virtual lesson. Our theme this week, our series, is called Turn It Up because we're dealing with volume, and I thought it was a funny joke. I'll keep laughing. You don't have to. It's okay. But I want to get us started with our welcoming ritual. It's new today. It's called one-word introductions. I want you to take some time and think about one word that describes how you are feeling right now. Write it down on a piece of paper, and then please share it in a comment or in our discussion on Schoology. I'd love to hear that one word you chose. Take some time to think about it. Pause the video and then unpause once you have your word. Awesome. I can't wait to hear your word. I'm so excited. My word right now is frustrated. I woke up this morning, I was in a good mood, and then I got to school this morning, and I found out we were having issues with Schoology, and now we're having issues with Teams. So I just feel very frustrated, like I'm not doing as well as I could. So that's my word. Look forward to hearing yours as well. So we'll kind of do a virtual number talk here. It's going to be a little difficult if you're watching it not with our class, but no worries at all. We will rock this. But how our number talks work, just as a review, is you'll see on the next slide where the wonderful animal is, you'll see a number of dots. We want to figure out how many dots there are without just counting how many dots there are one by one. So don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. But find a strategy to use, and it can be anything. It could be counting by twos. It could be counting dots that aren't there. Whatever it is, try and figure out how many dots, and then comment below or in Schoology, wherever it may be, how you figured out how many dots there are. So I'll show us our dots. Once I show us our dots, try and think of 2 different ways that you could find out how many dots there are. Share your thinking, but here are our dots. So pause the video here, come up with 2 different ways that you could figure out how many dots there are, and then unpause the video whenever you have your 2 ways. Awesome. I am so excited to see the 2 ways that you came up with to figure out how many dots there were, but I'd love to share my way. So I'm going to go up here and just circle what it looks like. So I saw that there were groups of 6. I saw a group of 6 here. I saw, oops, moving the whole thing. Group of 6 here. Group of 6 down here. And then a group of 6 at the bottom. So I knew there were 4 groups of 6. So that was 6 in each group times 4 groups. So that was 24. And then I saw 2 more groups of 4. So 24 plus 4 was 28, and then plus 4 more was 32. That is the way that I thought about it. Another way you might think about it, and of course there are so many different ways you can find out your own dots, but I saw another way that there were 4 dots that weren't here in the middle. So I'm going to draw them in right now. And then that made a box that was 6 tall by 6 wide. So I knew that the total number of dots there would be 6 times 6, which is 36. But then I knew that these 4 dots in the middle aren't really there. So then I had to take my 36 total dots and then subtract the 4 that weren't there. So I did 36 minus 4 and got 32. I look forward to hearing your creative solutions about how you solved how many dots there were. So definitely please post them in a comment below. That would be awesome. I am going to undo this so I can move on to our next slide. Oh, I didn't do it right. There we go. So slide about retakes. So we had our first quiz that was assigned yesterday on Tuesday. It's not due until Thursday, which is the 20th, at 11, after 11 at night. But I've already had some people who have taken it. A lot of people have taken it. And I've had some questions about retakes, redoing your work. Well, I'm here to let you know that any test, quiz, or other assignment, you can absolutely retake or redo as many times as you'd like. I think it's really important that you're given the chance to show how awesome you are. And if you didn't do something so well the first time, I want you to be able to go back, reread it, ask some questions, work some extra practice, and then come back and show how much you've grown. So you can get full credit on the retake assignment or redo assignment. It won't look the exact same as your original assignment. If you're retaking a quiz, it won't be the same questions, it won't be the same numbers, but it will absolutely be the same topics and the same type of questions. So we just want you to get more practice first, ask some questions, maybe schedule a meeting with me or someone else, and talk about what you need to master that topic, and see how we can work on it together. But absolutely, if you'd like to retake anything, you absolutely can. We won't be able to have retakes until after the deadline is passed for when it's turned in. So we're planning on having retakes for this first quiz next Tuesday, since it's due on Friday, or I'll open them up next Monday and then give you plenty of time to retake it. We will also have a special retake folder in Schoology where you can find all of the retakes if you'd like to redo them. Awesome. I'm looking forward. If you haven't taken the quiz yet, definitely do the reading first. It's the 10.01 OG. It's 3D. Both the reading and the quiz are in Schoology under our Tuesday, August 18th folder. But yeah, anytime you want to retake or redo something, you absolutely can. So based on our lesson from yesterday, and also to lead into our lesson for tomorrow, I want to cover a few basic things. The first is, what is a solid figure? Now, I'm going to look at the word figure first. What do I know that figure means? What is figure? Oh, figure. I think figure skating. Okay. But what in the world? Now I'm more confused. How does figure skating, what does it have to do with math? Well, figure is a shape. So a shape of some sort, usually three-dimensional. And then so we have solid. Now, somebody once told me if something was solid, it would hurt if I punched it. So here we have a book. It's a hardcover. If I punch it, ow, you probably heard that, and it hurts. Solid is going to mean that it has shape to it. So this clipboard definitely is solid. It's not going to move. It'll bend a little bit if I bend it, but it's keeping the same shape. So solid is going to mean that it is hard and doesn't move shapes. So here I have a water bottle. Our water bottle doesn't change shapes if I bend it or break it. If I squeeze it, it's going to stay the same shape. Now the water in it is not solid. I can squeeze the water out, and it has changed shapes. So solid is going to mean that it is not changing shapes. So next we have the space inside a solid figure. That'd be like, how much space does this book take up? Or how much water can I hold in this water bottle? The space inside of a solid figure is called volume. We talked about that on Monday. Volume is going to be how much space a shape takes up, a three-dimensional space takes up. And then we'll want to identify the dimensions of any solid figure. We'll be starting with triangles and cubes. So there are three parts to it. There is the length, how long it is, how wide it is, the width, and then the height, how tall it is. Now what's really cool is if I take this book and I spin it this way, it still takes up the same amount of space, right? One book, it didn't turn into a smaller book, it's the same size book, but now we have a different length and width and height. Same book, same measurements, takes up the same amount of space, but we have a different way to label each measurement. But you have three things that we'll be labeling our rectangular prisms or boxes. Rectangular prisms is a fancy way to say a box. You have the length, the width, and the height. So how long it is, how wide it is, and then the height. Awesome. So now we'll take a look at this picture here. I want you to take about 2 minutes and think about what in this picture has volume. What is solid and takes up space? So pause the video here, try and look at each thing in here and think about what has volume. So unpause it when you're ready, once you have figured out what you think has volume, and then we'll take a look at it all together. Awesome. So we'll touch on some things that have volume and don't have volume. The first thing is this person. While they are growing, day to day they are staying the same size and shape, and so that person has volume. They take up some amount of space. If you put them in a tub in a pool, they might make it splash over because they're taking up space in the pool now. All right. Something else that we know that we can feel and touch and takes up space, it also would hurt if we punched it, would be the trees. They have volume, they're taking up space. So the trees have volume. Okay, let's think about something that doesn't have volume. I'm going to say the air doesn't have volume. I can't punch the air, it doesn't hurt, so I'm just going to cross out the air up here. No volume in the air. Now how about this ball? Is the ball something I can hold and I can see that it takes up space? Yeah, so the ball would have volume because it's something we hold and it takes up space. Awesome. All right, other things that have volume would be pretty much anything else. The watering can, the stop sign takes up space. This little coffee mug down here takes up space. Even the leaf, it's tiny, but it has a little bit of volume. The kite takes up space. Not a lot, but it has volume. Wow. All of these three-dimensional shapes have volume. How interesting. I'm going to get rid of this just to be ready for our next class. There we go. Thank you. So now we want to talk about a unit cube. You know what a cube is. It is a three-dimensional box. It has the same length, width, and height. So it's a square box. And then unit just means one. So a unit cube is going to be a box that has a side length, a side height, and a side width of 1. I want to find out this great thing I heard somebody say this morning. They said, where was it? A unit cube is a cube that has sides of 1. So bigger cubes can be broken down into unit cubes, and a unit cube will be the same size no matter what shape we're putting them into. Oftentimes, if we were looking at real-world problems, the side length would be a foot by a foot or a centimeter by a centimeter, but it's just the way that we measure things by ones. So we know that we can pack unit cubes into any sort of solid figure to measure how much space it takes up. So we'll take a look at these 4 shapes down below and figure out which figures have been correctly packed so that they don't have any spaces and they don't have any overlaps. We want each of the shapes here, we want to figure out if they are correctly packed by completely filled, or if they have some gaps or holes or overlaps. Let's take a look. Awesome. So I have noticed that the green one has that space on the side right here that is empty. So that one's not correctly packed. This blue one has a whole corner that is missing unit cubes in it. But the yellow box and the orange box both have taken up all of the available space with unit cubes. So both of those are correctly packed to figure out the volume. Oops, too far. So now we're going to find the volume of our rectangular prisms, and rectangular prisms is just another way to say box. So find the volume of our rectangular prisms by counting the unit cubes. We're going to take a look first at the top layer of each. So taking a look at the green one, we are going to see that it has 4 cubes on the top layer up here. There are 4 on that top layer. So I will say each layer has 4 cubes. Then we want to ask ourselves how many layers there are. So we'll count the layers. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 total layers. Now it's just like cake. Each layer is going to be the same size. So once we have the total number in each layer, and then the total number of layers, we have to go ahead and we will multiply those together. So we will say 4 in each layer times 6 layers. 4 times 6, I know, is 24. We could also absolutely count by 4s 6 times. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. That works as well. Awesome. All right, so now let's do the same thing with the red cube. How many cubes are on the top layer of the red cube, of the red prism? To give you a moment to figure that out. Okay. How many cubes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, looks like there's 16 cubes in each layer. Now I will count the number of layers. I see that there are 1, 2, 3 total layers. So then I know I need to go ahead and do 16 times 3 because there's 16 in each layer, then multiply it by 3. I know I could also do 16 plus 16 plus 16. But let's take some time and figure out what our answer is. How many total cubes are there? 16 times 16. Let me work that out. Awesome. I got that there were 48 total cubes in this shape. Now remember, we can't see all of these cubes because there are some hidden on the back side. They're there because we have packed this solidly so that there are no gaps or overlaps. Oh, look, we can zoom in. That's cool. I don't know how we did that. Oh, okay. We can't see all of the cubes, but we know they're there because it's packed completely solid. Go ahead and try the orange one on your own. Fill in how many there are in each layer and then how many layers. Pause it here once you multiply them together to check your answer. Awesome. So I see that there are 30 unit cubes in each layer, and there is 1 layer. So now I know all I have to do is multiply 30 times 1 to get my total number of unit cubes, and it will be 30 unit cubes. So we have measured the volume of these prisms in cubic inches. Cubic just means we are using cubes to measure it, and then inches is how tall they are. So an inch is about that big. But our cubic inches are how we are going to measure our prisms or our boxes. Awesome. Y'all are doing fantastic. As we close today, actually, I'm so sorry. Before we close today, I do want to let you know that we will have 2 assignments in our Thursday folder. And so I'll show you what that looks like on Schoology. That would be this one right here. There we go. I'm going to use my first block math class. All of them look the same. We click on Thursday, August 20th. We have our agenda. So it says, Happy Thursday. Today is our asynchronous day. This is for tomorrow, where we have independent work. Please complete the following. Please complete the following, not volume. We're not talking about volume anymore. The FLVS lesson, 10.02. It's right here. Count them up. And then I want us to do some IXL practice. In DD.13, the volume of rectangular prisms made out of unit cubes. So it's just like what we did all together, but gives you some more practice on your own. Once you practice that, and I'd love for you to get to a 92. If you want to go higher than 92, you absolutely can, but your goal is to get to a 92 on the right side. And then I also Once you have practiced on IXL and read our lesson, then we'll have a quiz. It says 10.02, count them up. Now, neither of those are going to be due until next Tuesday. That gives you plenty of time to work on them. I definitely recommend working on them tomorrow if you have time. But if you don't worry, you have plenty of time to get it done. And then, as always, we just have a discussion area down at the bottom in case there's anything you want to add or questions you have as you work through these things. Now, as we wrap up our class today, our closure today is going to be overcoming struggle. I want you to think of a time that you encountered struggle today, and what did you do to deal with it? Was it counting the unit cubes? Was it technology-based? Were you struggling with multiplication? Whatever it is, think about it, write it down for yourself, and then share it either in a comment below or in our discussion on Schoology, or shoot me a message on Schoology. I'd love to hear what you struggled with it and how did you deal with it. For me, mine was not a math struggle, it was a technology struggle today. I struggled with how to get the slides on here the way I wanted them and to include the text. So that's something I struggled with, and I had to ask for help today to overcome it and to deal with it. I thought about just giving up, but I knew it would be important for you all to be able to see our work together. So that's how I dealt with my struggle today. I can't wait to hear what you struggled with today and how you dealt with it in a comment or post on Schoology or in a message. Awesome. Well, that is it for today. You know where to find our assignment on Schoology for tomorrow, and I can't wait to see you on Friday. Let's go Trojans. Bye, y'all.